external, musical, it's South Park all over again. Meghan and Harry's world tour of their Manta show went awry. Welcome back to Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel, everyone. As you may have noticed, this is the follow-up to the World Privacy Tour. I'd like to share with you all this fascinating perspective as well as say thank you to everyone who has supported us from day one. We sincerely appreciate your support. Now, let's get started. I can't stop thinking about what has transpired in the last week or so, people. A few days have passed since the end of Invictus, and at this point, it seems like they're attempting to pull a South Park impression with their Manta Show Globe Tour. I pride myself on being a pretty rational person and I don't tend to pay too much attention to conspiracy theories, but sometimes you guys I can't help but wonder if we are being played by the Harkles and Invictus and Netflix. There's just something fishy going on and it's reflecting badly on all three of these entities, and that's why I think that the Manta Show World Tour is an excellent name. And of course we got Meghan out there, acting like she's some type of woke feminist superhero comic book character who gets all her energy from subjugating Harry. 1 minute we saw Meghan at the In-N-Out drive-thru ordering some hamburgers and getting some milkshakes or invisible children, and then the next thing we knew she was in Dusseldorf delivering a speech that didn't even make a whole lot of sense. She was talking about how excited she was to bring the invisible children over to see Invictus Games in the future, but she did not make clear though was why she couldn't have brought them over this time. And just in case you forgot, Meghan really cares about family values. Don't you know she's perfectly willing to use the kids to make some money, but meeting their family members, well no, that's taking things a step too far, because there's no money in that for Meghan. It might be a breach of security to allow those kids to escape the prison they live in. If they're real, it is an incredibly risky thing to allow those invisible children either prison they call home, if they even call that place home. After all, it might be a breach of security. They may, heaven forbid, even have DNA samples taken when Meghan and Harry aren't paying attention, and then people might know about their deception. Can't let that happen. But anyway, I could not get over the fact that Meghan Markle had the nerve to lecture the audience at Invictus about family values. Obviously, Meghan has no idea what kind of family she has at this point. She cut off all of them save for her dubious mother. Eventually, she must have realized that she actually has a lot more in common with her gruff mother than with anyone else in the family, and that makes her the ideal parent for her children who are invisible. Really frightening mother-daughter duo are Meghan and Doria. Duo though, aren't they? Both of them have used and abused men throughout their entire lives. They just chew them up and spit them out when they're done with them. The apple didn't fall very far from the tree when it comes to those two. Obviously Doria taught Meghan everything she knows. Now there are some people claiming that actually Meghan and Harry traveled to Germany together instead of separately, so this would mean those In-N-Out burger pigs were a stunt to deceive us into believing that Meghan was at home while Harry was in Germany, when actually allegedly they may have been together the whole time. Now at first I thought this theory was absolutely absurd, but then I started thinking about it a little more and I thought, well, they do love to deceive the public, so maybe it's true. And that would mean that Meghan, I guess, was in the UK when Harry was at Child Awards, and I guess they were careful to keep her hidden, because that was part of the whole deception. Well, as I said before, the Manta's hit show is on tour right now. Why are they trying to play us though like we're idiots? I guess Netflix is wanting the two of them to present a united friend, to act like they're still the same power couple and influencers they claim to be. If not, the threat of termination of their contract for failure to deliver is looming over them, and then they're gonna see another income source. They have to follow Netflix's instructions after selling their souls to the streaming service. I think most of us knew there was still a very good chance that Meghan Markle, like some kind of sick scary jack-in-the-box, was going to pop up when we least expected it, and there she was, because Meghan is a narcissist and she loves controversy and attention. The reason Invictus released an announcement claiming Meghan was scheduled to do the closing ceremony speech, something about courage and resilience, I'm not sure, was that they had to reconsider after receiving all that negative backlash from the public and threats of sponsors pulling out and people not even attending the games. She persists because of this terrible vibe, and I believe that the reason she appeared on Netflix was because they told her to. Though, given the circumstances, she was forced to come, as she is now entirely dependent on them. Meghan is accustomed to the transactional kind of relationships. In fact, those are the only ones she truly knows. She's not a heartless hooker either, rather, she's a really cynical, repulsive, wicked player. As you can see, Meghan Markle is not one of those working girls who, perhaps due to their upbringing, fell in with the wrong crowd. And what about the negotiations? Well, I did hear that Meghan made some pretty ridiculous demands of the Invictus people. She wanted a helicopter to take her from the Dusseldorf airport to her hotel, and she also wanted the helicopter to be available for use whenever she needed it. Of course, she also wanted them to pay for all of her clothes. She wanted her suite to be redecorated and painted in her favorite colors, beige and off-white, and her bedding and meals to be precisely what she specified, all of which naturally absolutely not, Invictus said. And they then issued a statement stating that Meghan's scheduled keynote speech at the closing ceremony had been announced incorrectly and that a different presenter would be taking her place. Glancing back, given that Meghan did, in fact, appear in the games, a few questions arise that have me wondering what the possible answers might be.